everyone, it's Peg, and I don't know if you guys saw all the stuff coming out from Creativation. That is a Craft and Hobby Association event that goes on each spring, and they were showing some new products from Ranger, one of which is a resist spray. And I thought, I have a lot of these products already. I just need to use up what I have, one of which is this Goose Bumps. And yeah, it's been sitting on the shelf so long I can't get it out of the nozzle, so I'm going to soak that into some Murphy's Oil soap. And then I take out some crystal lacquer and I mix that with some water and I make a spray, and I'm going to put on some embossing powder as they were doing at the show to show you what that looks like. And this happens to be some yummy stuff from Emerald Creek. And I was watching a lot of the videos from Seth Apter, and I wanted to play some more with some of the embossing powders I already had with some of this resist technique. So that's what I'm doing. I have my water beside me so that I can, dump my stencil in there right away, just as they were suggesting. I'm putting different things together, trying out different combinations to see what I can get. I have my little spray box set up so that I don't get this adhesive stuff everywhere. And I'm going to use some different stencils, different products, and just see how this stuff works out. Well, I'm finding out that any of these adhesive things are working just fine. One of the things that I find is some of them will bubble a little bit more, so you may want to let them set and dry a bit before you actually heat set if you're putting embossing powder on. This is one of those that did a little bit of the bubbling, but it still had an interesting effect. And because I'm using that Emerald Creek heavy copper embossing powder, it's just like very textural and yummy, and oh yeah, can't go wrong with that stuff. So I continue to play. This is the one that I made with crystal lacquer, and I'm just going to try the crystal lacquer now. And I have some champagne embossing powder and some, I think this one is something from the holidays, maybe Thanksgiving. It's a orange glitter, and I kind of got heavy-handed, so I mopped up a little bit. But yeah, that one got a little bit too much too much stuff on it. But it's still interesting, right? It's still interesting. So yeah, I'm cleaning things up, trying to see if I can make them work, and just continuing on playing. This is how I learn. This is how I learn, is just by putting things in bottles, spraying them out, putting some embossing powder on it, and giving it a try. Because that's how we learn as artists. So I like the way this one turns out. This has that champagne, and I'm just, lightly putting that on. I want to leave a little bit of this resist revealed because I want to add some of that orangey glitter to it, just to have some variation in the effects on the background of that card. And as you see, as I heat set this, I really do like how it ends up turning out. So yeah, I try crystal lacquer, I try diamond glaze, I try any number of different products. This one I'm trying with some other embossing powder from Emerald Creek. This is really, really interesting stuff. It's called, what is it called? Grab it here. It is called Fractured Ice, and it is fractured because it has these ice crystals in it, and then it has other colors. It is really interesting stuff. So now I'm thinking, well, what if I put some of those, those dye ink sprays that we all have a hard time sealing into the spray bottle, and see what happens with that. So I'm just going to add a little more of the diamond glaze to my mix with, because I've watered it down now by putting some of that Diane Reevely Oh, look at there. Diane Reevely stuff into there. And yeah, it's working. So I'm going to set that aside to dry and clean up some of my mess, and then I'll be back. This into a full-fledged card making video because let's get back to what we were about. We were about making. Okay, let's take a look at the resist that we created. This one is with that copper from Emerald Creek, and I really like the textural effect that I get. You want to think about your mixtures and how thick you're spraying and what your spray nozzle is like. This one had a poor spray nozzle, so it didn't turn out very well. But if you get one that has a nice fine mister and you're holding it far enough away and splattering, it should be just fine. Play with some more because it had the Dylusions mixed into that mixture, and I think it's had plenty of time to dry now. This is another one that had the Dylusions in it, and you can see that I was able to put color on and blend. So let me take a brush. Let me just take a wet, see if I have one here that isn't all gooped up. Yeah, okay, so just get some water and a brush, and let's try to see if that moves now. And you can see that that has actually sealed that Dylusions color that we all have a problem with sealing. So if you mix a little bit of that crystal lacquer in with it, then you can get this. And it actually has some raised dimension. I don't know if you guys can see that or not. But if I want, now this is a little bit damp, but if I want to come in now with a, let's see, what do I have? It's kind of a tealy color. Let's do something in the opposite range here. I'm going to grab a orange blossom and an applicator and try that on top just to see what we get. You can see we can get some nice blend over the top of that. Okay, so that's what I had for you. Resist. If you have the stuff in your stash, use what you have. You know, we all have things that are just sitting on the shelf that need to be used. And let's use what we have and then, you know, go out and buy the new stuff. But I've had these things. Crystal lacquer, oh my goodness. I can't remember when I bought this stuff, probably 20 years ago. And it's still sitting there on the shelf and it's still good. So you see, I was able to do this with that. And don't forget about Emerald Creek and their wonderful line of embossing powders. I've used the fractured ice on here, and you can see the lovely effect that it gives. It's a mottled look. It has lovely texture. This one was the bronze, no, was the heavy copper. And there are a lot of other colors in their line. The golden tone was champagne, and it's a beautiful, vibrant. And I added a little bit of this one, the Thanksgiving, to that to put that little bit of difference in there. But isn't that a pretty reflective? Yeah, okay. So let me not get carried away with this, and I'll talk to you guys next time. If you like this content, be sure and hit the bell down below, and you'll get notified next time a new video comes out. Bye for now.